Hello everyone, and thanks for clicking through to this pre-recorded webinar. Just to highlight before we start that this has been put together for the members of the Broker Consultant Club. This is currently a free membership group for broker consultants, or as many are now called, account managers or business development managers. We only ask for one thing in return, which is to kindly continue to promote retirement partnership to your IFAs. Our IFA usage and awareness of our proposition amongst IFAs is very important to us, and the more the merrier. So this presentation is going to take you through a simple relationship marketing model, which I've always found to be highly effective, and particularly in the sales environment where we're dealing with some form of intermediary. It's called the Client Loyalty Ladder. It is exactly what it says. It's a model which is ladder shaped, and the idea is that you progress up the ladder to help you climb up to your goal with a particular account. So by studying this and applying this model, we can actually help you progress towards your account goals. Now, I must also say one simple message is that it is a theory and it is a model, so do apply it to your own situation. There's nothing wrong with taking a model like this and tweaking it, changing some of the terminology or words going through. To start with, have a look at your panel though, and just consider what type of panel you have. There may be two extremes here. One would be the untouched panel, where nobody's sold on it before from your company and the advisors are not aware of your proposition. A very tough job, but the advantage is there's no preconceptions. On the other hand, it may be a well-trodden panel, and in that case you may just be able to follow the pathway to success if it's been a successful panel before, and just follow the actions of your predecessor. Quite often though, it can be the case that the well-trodden path leads to trouble with difficult relationships in certain places. So you're likely to be somewhere in between. The key to start with though is to list out all of your accounts on your panel. It'll be something I'm sure you're aware of. And work out how many firms that you are meant to be dealing with, and then how many firms you have done business with in the last 6 months. And I put the timescale on there because if activity's not happened in the last 6 months, you may as well zero them back down again. However, be very cognizant of historical business flows. IFAs and anybody is always sensitive to business being placed in the past. So if you can be aware of historical business that's been placed with you or your company, not necessarily in your time, then that will be to your advantage in my view. Thirdly, have a look at how many advisors are within these firms that you've done with business with as well. The list of advisors is likely to be far, far longer than the list of firms. If we suggest there'll be 3 advisors per firm, but there can be 15, 20 or 30 advisors or even more in many firms, and you may have a panel mixed in with some one or two man bands. So from here, if we have your list of accounts at the bottom and your list of individuals, and you use that as your worksheet, and then look at the ladder model going up. And the first level we have, the first run on the ladder, are our suspects. These are firms and individuals that you could be doing business with. These are unresearched. These are just the names on the list of people you think we could be doing business with. Therefore, every RI within a firm of advisors on your panel will be a suspect. We suspect that we could do business with these people. So the transition is a period of research which will give you more information about these firms and who is doing business in the right place for you. From research then we can start to establish our list of prospects. Our list of prospects are those firms that we actually could be doing business with and moving into wanting to do business with these people. So in turn there's another process within here which I'll just come away from the ladder called prospect qualification. Moving from suspect to prospect, everybody is an unqualified prospect until you've actually done a layer upon layer of research, and I would call the never-ending research on an account or an individual. They would be unqualified. Moving someone from unqualified would move into a qualified position where you are certain that you want to do business with this individual. And then in turn, you mustn't be afraid of having a disqualified list. These are people who you don't want to do business with. Maybe they're in the wrong marketplace. They're mortgage IFAs rather than retirement IFAs. Or perhaps there is a blockage of some kind, either bad history or a panelling position of some nature, where for the period of time you're going to disqualify the opportunity. If you're not on panel and the IFA cannot use you, you can't do business. You could continue to build the relationship, but they would be sitting on your disqualified list. So once you've had your prospects qualified, you then do the hard graft and engage with the IFA to develop business, and that's the core job we're not going to go into today. But that is the full skill of a salesperson to go in and convert a prospect and to do your first case. If you want to have a look at another model that we have a model called the 4 skills model, which deals with the 4 types of skills you may need to use in this engagement process. Once you've done business with someone, though, they move up the ladder to the customer run. And the customer is someone who we have done a piece of business with. Now, if you're new to a panel or you're on a panel today, you may be able to identify accounts where you have done a piece of business, perhaps in the last 6 months. You could stretch it out to 12 months, but let's say the last 6 months. And you'd put those accounts immediately up on the customer run. It's a common problem in the industry from a product provider point of view to have firms who have done just one piece of business and not 2. Getting an account to go from 1 to 2 pieces of business can be as hard as getting the first piece of business. And again, I refer back to the 4 skills model that we also talk about. So once you have someone who's done a piece of business, it's really important to continue to concentrate on them and to give them as much effort and time to get your second, third and fourth piece of business to establish repeats and then flow business. Once you have repeat and flow business, we can move the IFA firm up the ladder to client status. Effectively, you're now creating a clientele, a group of advisors who you can rely on for repeat business and flow business, and this will clearly strengthen your panel and your territory going forward. From repeat and flow clients, some people would use the rule of 7 here, is that you have to do 7 pieces of business to establish flow before you can begin to step back and turn down the heat on the account, where they've actually embedded your product, your proposition into their processes. Once you've established that flow, you're then now looking for advocacy. And this is at the top of the ladder I'm going to show you today, but your advocates are those IFAs who would support you and your proposition in the marketplace. You might expect to hear them talking about your product or proposition positively to other advisors and obviously to their clients. The advocate may well be far more proactive in seeking out clients to do business with your particular proposition, but also could be used by yourself to support your own development and your own business development in your territory. Your advocate could therefore be regarded as someone who perhaps works for you, and you could, for instance, use them going back with your prospects and dealing with your helping you to convert your prospects into customers. A simple example would be to take one of the advocates out for a lunch with one of your key prospects and actually ask them to act as reference to explain why they've used your product, any difficulties they've had and what the positive experiences have been, and the type of client scenario that they have used the product in. The other simple way would be referencing, written references, or even telephone calls going across. A simple question to ask the advocate IFA would be, would you mind if I gave your name to another IFA who's looking to use my product and would like to discuss it with an IFA? So we've moved through the client loyalty ladder fairly quickly. Making it work for yourself, as just to recap, create your list of accounts and your suspects. Do your never-ending research to qualify your prospects, and it really is never-ending research. Engage in a thought-through way to do your first case, and then develop customers to establish repeat and flow business. Establishing your clientele, very much like a restaurant, where you want to establish a group of people who you can rely on to come and do business with you. From that group, you can then work through your advocates and use them to cross-reference into other IFA firms to strengthen your business flows. Thanks for watching this webinar. If you'd like to ask any questions, please use us through the LinkedIn group. Otherwise, please do give me a call or drop me an email. Thanks for listening.